morning and welcome to the Grand Sports Center. It's a beautiful week and we're looking forward to a very bumper and happy week ahead. And we're here to spice it up for you, to start it off on a very, very good and exciting note with a very good and interesting edition of the Grand Sports Center. I'm Donald Agbavobo. We have a lot to talk about. A lot happened over the weekend and so much to talk about on the program today. We shall be looking at the continental matches played in Africa over the weekend. Ali, by the way, won the CAF Champions League for last season. They beat Zamalek 2-1 in the final played on Friday. But by Saturday, the new edition for 2021 has started already, and with some matches played across Africa. Four Nigerian teams were involved, 2 in the CAF Champions League and 2 in the Confederations Cup. But Eyimba, unfortunately, were the only bright spot as Nigerian teams faltered in continental competitions. All of them, Kano Pillars, Rivers United, and Plateau United, all lost their matches. But Eyimba was the only bright spot. They won away against Raimbe and Burkina Faso. She'll be talking and analyzing these matches and what it holds for the Nigerian teams going forward, talking about their future in the competition. We shall also be doing a review of last weekend's matches across Europe, especially the English Premier League, the Spanish La Liga, and Italian Serie A. Maradona, passed on last week. The world is still mourning, but then the last has not been heard about the circumstances that led to his death, as we understand that investigations have been opened in Argentina over a possible case of medical negligence on the part of his personal physician. So an investigation is going on in Argentina. But then again, just as we are yet to actually grapple with the death of Maradona, the football world has been hit again by another death of another football star, talking about Senegalese legend Papa Bouba Diop. You remember him? He played in the 2002 World Cup. He scored the first goal in the match against France, where Senegal upset world champions France by 1-0. He scored the only goal of that match. I think, at least if you can't remember him for any other thing, you should be able to remember that match. And what a beautiful celebration it was when he took off his jersey and he had his teammates dance around the jersey for a few minutes just to celebrate that wonderful goal. Well, Papa Bouba Diop died over the weekend. We shall be talking about all this. Also, in Formula One, it's all about Lewis Hamilton these days. If he's not winning the Grand Prix, he's been crowned the official champion. So much about him. Well, he did it again over the weekend, the Bahrain Grand Prix. Though he had already wrapped up the championship, ending the year as the constructors champion. But then we still have about 2 races to go, or 3, 2 in Bahrain, and another one in Saudi Arabia. But then in the Bahrain Grand Prix on Sunday, he won again, but that victory was almost overshadowed by an incident that happened concerning Sebastian Grosjean, the driver for Haas. The Haas team driver had his car in flame, and it was a miracle that he escaped, and he was left with burns in both hands. He was taken to hospital, and we understand that he's doing very, very well. And also the Tigers, the Nigerian basketball team, who are competing in the 2021 Afro-Basket qualifiers in Rwanda, made it 3 out of 3. They won all 3 matches. They started on Friday, on Thursday with victory over South Sudan. They followed up on Saturday with victory over the host, Rwanda. And yesterday, they wrapped it up with victory over Mali. So they've done very well. And we shall be talking about their performance in Kigali. Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr., the much anticipated fight, the comeback of 54-year-old Mike Tyson and 51-year-old Roy Jones Jr. ended in a draw. So we shall also be talking about that. Plus, Super Eagles Watch, we will get to catch up with some of the Nigerian players. They are faring out there in Europe. Bodunachi is also in the news, particularly is in the news. He scored twice for his club Ghent as they defeated Sekobridge by 4-1. We shall be talking this and more we have for you on the program today. So sit back and relax and enjoy your time with us. Once again, I'm Donald Agbavobo, and let me quickly welcome Austin Arume. Austin, hope you had a very nice weekend.
It's always good to be here on Monday.
And Les Mbasi.
A pleasure to be here.
Okay, so together we shall be doing it and ensuring that you have a nice time with us. We'll set sail after the short break. Welcome back to the Grand Sports Center, and straight away we go to the CAF Champions League. And like I said earlier, Eyimba of Aba were the only Nigerian team that had their head high after the first leg matches in the preliminary round of the CAF Champions League. They went to Burkina Faso in Ouagadougou. They defeated Raimo FC by 1-0 in the first leg. The second leg match will be played next week in Aba, but then this same team Eyimba defeated at this stage of the competition last year, and they're already on the way to securing victory again. Is this fixture done and dusted?
I don't think so, but then it's a good one for Eyimba FC. Like I said, even before they went into this game, I saw it's like I foresaw what was going to happen, because mentally Eyimba were kind of prepared, but then Raimo FC, they started competitive football even before now, but then going away from home and winning Raimo FC in Burkina Faso, it shows the quality and that experience. Just like we said last week, anybody have the experience on their side. I think Eyimba so far so good. In the last 10 years, they've been the only they are the only Nigerian team that has done well in CAF competition. So this is just to emphasize that confederation continental dominance as far as Nigerian clubs is concerned.
Well, they still have one match to go. They still have the second leg match to go. And Austin says it's not done and dusted. But this same team Eyimba defeated at this stage of the competition. So we're expecting Raima to be more competitive this time instead of looking because of the fear of revenge. To be driven by that eagerness to have a revenge over Eyimba. But then probably it's like Eyimba were very much prepared. Were you surprised at the outcome, given the fact that Eyimba our league had not started and they've not really played competitive football? But we understand that they won the Omekpe Azo competition sometime last week, and they've been involved in 1 or 2 friendly matches. That's all how much of football they've played this season, and going over to Ouagadougou to secure that 1 victory. Was it a surprise?
Well, it wasn't a surprise for me. I expected that victory from Eyimba. They've proven to be the people's elephants, especially going all the way to Ouagadougou and getting that 1-0 lead against FC Raimo. But the most important thing is the fact that all the while during the COVID-19 period, there's been a long, even the fact that the league was not even, there was this postponement of league, but at the same time, Eyimba, aside the rest of the Nigerian league team, Eyimba has proven to be the best so far.
So they are very much at home, just like Austin and Blessing have said. Eyimba, when it comes to the continent, they've always proven to be very, very good. So it's like this season will not be any different. They've started very well, but there's still work to be done. They still have 90 minutes of football to play. As we always say in football, anything can still happen. Well, while we celebrate Eyimba, it was not so good with the other teams in the competition. The other team in the CAF Champions League is Plateau United, playing at home, and they lost at home to Simba FC of Tanzania. Austin, did you see it coming, given the fact that Simba have been very, very active in Tanzanian league?
Yeah, I think I saw that coming. We talked about it here on the show. The fact that Simba, they are in form. Before this game, I think they won their league match 7-0 in Tanzania, and then they have this experience because they played more continental football than the Plateau United. They played 12 matches, while Plateau United they just 4. So I think the first thing is that they have number one, they have played competition, played competitive football, that on their side. But then we have a Plateau United who they are playing actually played first competitive game. So I think 1-0 home loss to Plateau United, I think is actually a bad one for them, considering they played at home losing to Simba FC, who are actually in form right now. So what is the guarantee that they are going to win away from home? But we know everything is possible in football. So it's
Yes,
down to the coach now
that's
to,
football for you.
yeah.
Anything is always possible. Blessing is just still up for Plateau United. Because you need at least to score 2 goals in Tanzania for them to make it through to the next round. 2 goals without any reply from Simba. Is that possible?
Well, I really can't say at this point because I expected them the very best from Plateau United, judging by the fact that they were playing at home. But for them to have considered those goals, well, let's expect if they go back, they will do
But
better.
their coach, Abdul Mekaba, is sounding very optimistic. He says anything can still happen. And he actually alluded to the fact that, just like Austin said, that Simba have played 11 matches this season in their league. So if Blue United's coach is alluding to that fact, who is to blame here? Is it Simba's fault that our league has not really started? So if that should be an excuse why they may have lost, is it a terrible one?
Well, that's tell you how football varies, how football is powerful. Things could turn around. Just because it's like this doesn't mean it could continue like this. Well, I expect Plateau United to sit up and do much better in
So they
their
still have a
return leg.
chance?
Yes, they have a chance.
Well, talking about the other competition, the Confederations Cup, 2 other Nigerian teams are involved in that competition. We have Kano Pillars and played Rivers United. Rivers United went to Equatorial Guinea and lost 2-1 to Futuro Kings. That match ended 2-1. Futuro Kings led 2-0. Rivers United pulled one back to make it 2-1. At this point, are we saying that Rivers United still have a chance because that away goal can prove very vital?
Yeah, it's a fair result. They went away from home. And they were able to score 2-1. Away from home against Plateau United is not a bad result, considering just like we've been saying, no competitive football, and then going away from home, I think it actually played against them. But the fact that they were able to score, and they even made several attempts to equalize, it shows that there's that competitive spirit, that never say die attitude in the team. So I believe they still have that chance, and the fact that they are playing at home, is I think a bit in their favor, if I may say.
What of Kano Pillars? They lost 3-1 to Giraffe of Senegal, but they scored first and then they capitulated, lost 3-2. But the fact that they scored first in Dakar, does it tell us that this Kano Pillars team can actually spring a surprise?
Yeah, they can spring a surprise. It's at least they scored a goal and they played away from home. I believe they could, judging by the fact that they are getting to know themselves much better and the fact that they have a new coach in their team. So I believe that they could do even better than where they are presently.
Well, it's too early to judge actually because we still have the second leg matches to be played. But then, can we say the fact that Nigerian League has not started actually is showing in the results of our teams?
Yeah, it's actually showing, considering Simba, even though you say technically they are in form, or on a very good day, you cannot compare a Simba team to a Plateau United team. The kind of quality in the team and let's say the experience of the coach Makaiba is experienced. But then I believe the league not starting is actually a disservice to continental representatives.
Well, it's not anybody's fault. It's the coronavirus issue that led to lockdown and ban on sporting activities. So you couldn't actually say the league did not start. Because at this point, what I'm saying is that you can't actually blame it on the NFF or on the league management company now. So it's something that we have to deal with and probably just hope that these teams are able to turn the table in the second leg match. I guess so.
Yes. Let's expect that they're able to turn the table because, like you said, it's not anyone's fault. The COVID-19 came and all these things had to be adjusted, and they have to fall back to position and obviously try to do their best in in their various teams. So let's expect the best at the end of the day.
Yes, indeed. And talking about the CAF Champions League, other results shows that Armed Forces of Gambia and Cherugret of Senegal played a 1-1 draw. Just a few of the results. The West African affair between Racing Abidjan and Okara of Togo ended 1-0 in favor of Racing Abidjan. Gazelle of Chad beat Seed of Djibouti by 3-0. And we had a Kaiser Chiefs of South Africa going all the way to Cameroon to beat Bameda of Cameroon by 1-0. I'm sure that it was Eyimba, Petro Atletico, Stade Malien, Kaiser Chiefs, and Okana Red Devils of Zambia were the only teams that secured away results from home over last weekend. In the CAF Confederations Cup, we have Al Ittihad of Libya beating Osed of Somalia by 4-1. That was the biggest scoreline. The next big scoreline was Nagumo of Tanzania, who beat Al Rabita of Somalia or South Sudan by 3-0, and Canopilas of Nigeria losing 3-1 to Giraffe of Senegal. Those were the biggest results. All the matches ended 1-0, 2-1, and thereabouts. So much about the CAF Champions League and the CAF Confederations Cup. Like I said earlier, the second leg matches to decide the final outcome of these fixtures will be next week, and so we just hope that the Nigerian teams are able to pull themselves together to secure victory so that they move into the next round of the preliminaries. It's still the Grand Sports Center. We'll take a short break and we'll come back. We'll go to Europe. We'll do a review of some of the matches that were played over the weekend in some of the leagues across Europe. Still the Grand Sports Center on Grand Sports Extra, and next we go to Europe, where a lot of football actions took place in the various leagues, especially the English Premier League, the Spanish La Liga, and the Italian Serie A. In the English Premier League, Arsenal lost their third match at home to Wolves by 2-1, and Chelsea and Tottenham settled for a 0-0 draw, which means Tottenham remain top of the table, while Chelsea are in third position with Liverpool, who had also played a 1-1 draw with Brighton on Saturday, also playing 1-1. Southampton lost at home to Man United. Man United came from 2 goals down to win that match by 3-2. Crystal Palace were beaten at home by Newcastle 2-0. Manchester City whitewashed Burnley 5-0 after losing 2-0 to Spurs last weekend. They came out smoking, and they did it, and unfortunately it was Burnley that were the victim. They beat them 5-0. Everton lost at home to Leeds, a very surprising one, and West Brom also won their second match of the season. They beat Sheffield United 1-0. Well, those were the major results from last weekend, and in English Premier League, for us, this Manchester United team, they are on the rise. When at the end of the first half, when the match was 2-0, I just thought it was going to be normal vintage Man United. They will get a good result. Last week they won, and then this week they are losing. So but then they came out smoking in the second half, and Edison Cavani was among the goals. United finally gotten that missing link that has been the problem with the team.
I will not be quick to judge, but the quality of Edison Cavani actually showed yesterday. He's a player, a proven goal scorer, and we know what he's capable of, and he brought that to bear yesterday. He came in the second half, and then he scored 2 goals and assisted another. So it shows, on his day, Edison Cavani is actually unplayable, and we are beginning to see that. So I believe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer should actually be thinking towards that line. He has I don't want to say he has this bias, orientation towards his players, the likes of Martial, Rashford.
You can't say that, Austin, because he bought Cavani.
Yeah.
You know, some of these players you're talking about, he met them on ground.
Yeah.
If you're talking about the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's players, the players he brought in, Cavani should be among them. So why would he not? And of course, for me, what does this hold for Ojo Igalo? You know, with Cavani now in the team and doing very well. Have we seen the last of Ojo Igalo in terms of playing for Manchester United?
I think so. You know, considering we have, just like I said, we still have Martial. Anthony Martial is there. Have Rashford with Cavani now in line. You see that, you know, we have 4 strikers jostling for one position because we know how Ole likes to play.
I think the good thing is that Rashford can also be deployed from the wings, so from the right or left side of attacks, depending on what he wants to play. So I think they will still be able to find a position for Ojo Igalo, even if not as a starter, but then coming in to actually make his contribution to the team. Moving on, Arsenal is one team that is giving cause for worry. Arsenal fans, I pity them this period because it's been one disappointment or the other. After losing at home to Leicester, and last week they almost lost to Wolves, and of course this week, last week they almost lost again at home, but that to Leeds ended 0-0. Leeds hit the post I think twice or thrice in that match, so it could easily have been a loss for Arsenal. Then when you thought that they were able to put that disappointment behind them, they lost 2-1 to Leeds. Do Arsenal really have quality to play, to actually mix up with the big boys, talking about fighting for the title or securing a top 4 place? Do they really have the quality? Let us look at it critically.
Well, I think Arsenal has the quality, but the thing here is, whatever the issue is with Arsenal is what I can't really fathom, because they've been having a lot of losses this couple of times. So I don't know why Arsenal, even at home, they can't even, you know, make a point. You know, it's really a cause for concern. So, you know, they actually need to work on, especially their players, you know, presently, because they have good players, you know, players that could, you know, deliver, you know, in getting those points well. So I really, you know, can't fathom why.
Well, that's football for you. You may have good players, you may have plans, but your opponent may have a better plan that will just be much more effective than what you have. So just like Blessing said, Arsenal they need to actually think of a way out, because you just can't continue this way. Chelsea and Tottenham played out a 0-0 draw, and Chelsea, Tottenham, you know, at the beginning of the season, we said it was going to be another fight between Liverpool and Man City. Yeah. But these two guys, Chelsea and Tottenham, they've been there, and they don't want to leave that place. So what does this tell you? Are we going to have a keener contest for the title this time around? Liverpool just ran away with the title at some point. They left everybody behind. Yeah. Right? And nobody could catch up with them. But this time around is keenly contested, and Chelsea and Tottenham especially, because of the person in charge of the team, Jose Mourinho. He may be playing down the chances of Tottenham, but people that know Jose knows that Jose is just psychology. Yeah. You know, he doesn't want to build pressure on himself. But with Jose having a sniff at the title, you're sure that he's going to actually give all it takes to get it.
Yeah, I think so. You know, just like you said, Jose Mourinho is a serial winner. He loves to win. He has his own style of play, and if you watch that game yesterday, even against Man City, I'm sure some people were actually criticizing him, you know, that he was not coming out to play. But then that is Jose for you. That's how he loves his football. But one thing I observed yesterday is that he was able to restrict Chelsea to just 3 shots on target. You know, they had just 1 shot on target. But then, if you saw with the whole possession, you know, he was still able to restrict them to just 3 shots on target. So it shows Mourinho the kind of person he is as a coach, and his mentality going forward. But then, if you watch the Chelsea team as well, you observe that they're actually a bit cautious going forward, because they know the kind of team they are playing against. Any mistake you make, you know, they'll punish you. So I believe it was actually well deserved for both teams.
Well, the English Premier League was full of action. And like we said earlier, Tottenham still top the table, followed by Liverpool, and then Chelsea. Um, Man United on the rise, but Arsenal is down. There's lower half of the table, so they need to actually work on that team. News coming out of the Premier League has it that the FA will likely have to investigate Edison Cavani over a post on his Twitter handle, and it's said to have some racially offensive terms. But then he's saying that these are terms that don't mean anything in South America. But then he needs to understand that this is England, and some things that we just pass, people will just gloss over in South America. People will take it very seriously in Britain. So those are the things he needs to understand. Manchester United have already warned him, and he has put down that post. And but then the English FA will understand. We launch an investigation into that issue. Well, those are matters outside the pitch, but in the pitch of play, you can't doubt the quality of Edison Cavani. Already beginning to show 2 goals over the weekend as he led the comeback by Manchester United in their match against Southampton. We'll go over now to the Spanish La Liga, where another big thing happened. Real Madrid fell again at home to another so-called small team, Alaves. The other time it was Cadiz that came and did the damage. This time around it is Alaves. Real Madrid, listen, this fluctuation, is it a testimony of the fact that the Real Madrid team is not really settled? Because last Wednesday they were in Italy to beat Inter Milan in the Champions League 2-0. That's not a small place. That's not an easy place to go to win. Then at home they're playing against Alaves in the league. They fell 2-1.
That's to tell you how football changes. Or football, you never can tell. For them to have won in the Champions League and also in the Spanish league losing at home, then there's a lot to talk about the football league generally, because like I said, you never can tell. For Alaves to have defeated Real Madrid at home, then it's just unpredictable.
Yes, indeed. But one team, the other team in Madrid, seem to be doing very well. Atletico Madrid, they are holding sway at the top of the table right now. They beat Valencia away from home. They've not been too fantastic. They just get this result 1-0, 2-1. But then they are doing very, very well. They beat Barcelona last weekend, 1-0. So Atletico Madrid, are we finally going to see them go all the way this time around?
I think this is the opportunity. This is the opportunity they have. Found good opportunity, I believe. Because of the fact that Barcelona, they didn't start too well. The same thing we've seen Madrid struggling. So I believe this season is their opportunity to actually go ahead and win the Spanish La Liga. But then, if you're talking about their general play, this is what we know Atletico for. This is how they play. They just try to score you that 1 goal and then they defend their life out. So I think,
it's working out for them well.
It's working out for them.
And unfortunately for them, the 2 big other teams, Real Madrid and Barcelona, are not having the best of time. But then Barcelona did very well at the weekend. They beat Osasuna 4-0. Since the league started, I'm sure that this is the best display we've seen of Barcelona. Can we say that they have finally turned the curve and we're not going to see the Barcelona that we used to know? Because the way they played against Osasuna on Sunday was reminiscent of the Barcelona teams of the past.
Well, there are times where things will obviously go on. Barcelona have been having a couple of issues. Probably that's the reason why, they've been losing their matches. But I think presently, they've tried to put things in order, and the controversy has...
The Messi factor.
And the Messi factor, yes, is beginning to...
Because he played very well yesterday. Could it be that also that the players now are not being able to play with him? No, when Suarez, Vidal, some players that he was used to actually left, it maybe took some time for those players, if once he's playing with now, to come to understand, because you could see that understanding on Saturday. So there's more to come from Barcelona, I guess.
Yes, there's more to come from Barcelona.
Well, in other results in the Spanish La Liga, Valladolid played 1-1 with Levante. Elche played 1-1 with Cadiz. That match was shown live on Grand Sport Extra. Hope you watched it. And we normally give you the best of La Liga action every Saturday on the station. So this week we have another match for you that will be told. We'll get some. As the week goes on, we'll get to tell you the match that will be showing this week. But then last week, those that were hooked on to Grand Sport Extra enjoyed the match between Elche and Cadiz. That match ended 1-1. Like we said earlier, Valencia lost 1-0 at home to Atletico Madrid. Huesca lost at home to Sevilla by 1-0. Getafe and Atletico Bilbao played a 1-1 draw. Celta Vigo played 3-1, beat Granada by 3-1. While Real Sociedad and Villarreal played out a 1-1 draw. That was another top of the table clash, Austin.
Yeah.
Real Sociedad are presently second or so in the table, and Villarreal are third. So it was a very clearly considered match. I own Chukwueze was in action in that match.
Yeah.
And it ended 1-1. So does this show actually that both of these teams, because now we're talking about Atletico Madrid top, Real Sociedad, Villarreal. We're not talking about Real Madrid, Barcelona. We're talking about they are totally out of the picture.
Yeah.
Madrid are in fourth position. But then, does this actually mean that these two teams, being that they played at a 1-1 draw, shows that they have championship credentials?
Yeah, I think so. The fact that they are, second and third, respectively, is not actually a fluke. It shows, they are doing something right. And then it's a tough game, second and third playing against each other. So you expect, that kind of battle. And this is what we actually saw, in display at the Real Sociedad home stadium.
So finally, we talk about the Italian Serie A, where Inter Milan bounced back from their 2-0 Champions League loss at home to Real Madrid with a 3-0 spanking of Sassuolo. And Benevento and Juventus played a 1-1 draw. Listen, Benevento was promoted from Serie B last season. They came from second division, the promoted side, and they held almighty Juventus, who have won the last 8 or 9 Italian titles, to a 1-1 draw. Don't tell me that this is another thing about football. but then we know it's football for you. But how do you see the result?
Well, the result is it's okay. The fact that they played a full 90-minute game, and we expected that a team will come out victorious at the end of the day. So they've proven their points, and even if Juventus is almighty, still tells you that football, is unpredictable.
Yeah, they refused to be intimidated. That's what it just showed, because Juventus scored first and they equalized, and it was a very, very interesting match. AC Milan maintained their leadership of the table with a 2-0 victory over Fiorentina. Without Ibrahimovic, who has been top scorer with 11 goals this season, because he's out injured. So does it actually tell you that this Milan team is a complete team that does not depend on one particular player?
Yeah, I think so. If you look at this Milan team, Donnarumma, though young, he has experience. He has garnered enough experience. Still have the likes of Simon Gea, in defense, Romagnoli, or these two guys, they've been in the Italian Serie A. They know the league too well. And then you still have the likes of Cassi, Diaz in the team, Chanoglu. All these guys, they are good players. It's just that the coming of Ibrahimovic actually made them to realize
Brought out
that.
the best in them.
Yeah. So I think Milan, so far so good. They've given a good account of themselves. The fact that Ibrahimovic was not in the game and they still won against Fiorentina, it shows how far they've come in the Italian Serie A.
Well, moving on, the other results in the Italian Serie A shows that Atlanta lost at home to Verona, and that's a surprising result. Atlanta on Wednesday went to Anfield to beat Liverpool by 2-0 in Champions League, and yeah, they're at home losing to Verona 2-0. Udinese beat Lazio by 3-1. Bologna beat Crotone 1-0. Cagliari and Spezia played a 2-2 draw, while Napoli spanked AS Roma 4-0. Well, that was another big result. Talking about two big teams in Europe, in Italy, just like in Spain, where you talk about big teams, Real Madrid and Barcelona. Then you add Atletico Madrid to the mix. Probably you add Sevilla and Valencia to the mix. In Italy, it's about Juventus, Inter Milan, AC Milan, AS Roma, and Napoli. Could it be that Napoli actually given a befitting tribute to Maradona without victory? Probably would that have been what spurred them to this victory? Because AS Roma is not a small team.
Yeah, if
The
Napoli.
coincidence between Maradona's death and this performance.
Yes, so if Napoli had even lost, they would have been questioned because there's every tendency that they should, you know, there's need, especially the fact that
Maradona.
to honor Maradona.
And let's not forget also that Messi actually honored Maradona in the match between Barcelona and Osasuna when he took off his jersey to reveal a jersey of a newest old boys, one of his boyhood teams that Maradona also played for at the twilight of his career in 1993. So he revealed a jersey showing jersey number 10, so in honor of as a tribute to Diego Maradona. We'll take a short break, and when we return, we shall not talk about Diego Maradona himself. Even in debt, he's still making the news. I don't think we'll stop talking about Diego Maradona for some time to come. But we understand that there's an inquest into the actual cause of his death, what led to his death, because there's this talk of medical negligence on the part of his personal physician. Investigations are said to be going on in Argentina. We shall be talking about that when we return from this short break. Welcome back to the Grand Sports Center, and moving on, we're talking about Diego Armando Maradona, and this time around it's about the nature, not the nature actually, the actual cause of his death. We know that he died as a result of from a heart attack, but then what would have led to it? There's this talk of medical negligence on the part of his personal physician Leopold Loche, and the talk of his them having a small raw few days to that time. So the daughters of Maradona, Chalma and Janina, are actually questioning the medications that the father was receiving just before he died. So this whole thing ended up playing out.
I don't know how it happened. I'm not there, but I'm thinking actually, as an ex-footballer, just like Maradona is, when you retire from the game, you tend to, it happens to all sports people, you have this, that's when you start having all sort of problems. So I believe it might be a case of, actually, I don't want to say they are right or they are wrong, but then I think they'll have to, they should think critically, before making a decision or accusing somebody at this point. I'm not saying the doctor is not guilty or is guilty, but then, I believe the fact that there was actually a row before between the doctor and Maradona himself, I think a lot of people are beginning to look into that direction, or they're trying to. I think they're trying to get over the fact that, or it's still hard for them to get over the fact that Maradona is dead.
But again, Austin, it may be more than that, because understand that this actually came because of some conflicting reports concerning how everything played out shortly before he died. Initially, the doctor, his own lawyer himself, Matthias Moller, had said that the ambulance, it took about half an hour for the ambulance to come after the ambulance was called, but then later established that it took just 11 minutes. That's conflicting already.
Yeah.
Then the nurse itself that was taking of Maradona admitted that she lied about an early morning checkup. So she actually said that she checked on him earlier, but now she's saying she didn't. That's another conflicting report. And then the issue of breakfast. it was said that he hadn't had breakfast, but the nephew that was staying with him actually confirmed that he had breakfast before going to bed.
Yeah.
So because of this series of computer reports, it has raised suspicion over what actually played out. I guess this is why they are launching this investigation. And the doctor, personal physician, is the most likely target because he's the one giving out the medication, and also given the fact that they now got to know that they had a little quarrel shortly before that. So that's why all this thing is happening. But then, at the end of the day, Maradona has gone. But then, how important is it to get to the root of it all? How important is it?
Well, I expected something like this to come up, though obviously want to point fingers at somebody at the end of the day. It's normal, especially to legends, not just in the world of sports, everywhere.
Michael
Jackson, exactly. So they should allow Maradona to rest in peace. He had a lot of medical issues. It's not today, but at the same time, I feel, I knew there were going to be investigations starting from his family, the medical aspect, but at the same time, I think they should let him rest in peace, and they should do the, normal. They should go through the normal investigation and normal procedure.
But again, you would ask me, the family have a right to get to the root of it all, just at least to have that rest of mind that there was no foul play that led to the death of Maradona. So still talking about deaths, very unfortunate that we have to be talking about deaths in the program, but then these are soccer stars and legends in their own right. We celebrated Maradona last week. This week it's about another great footballer, Papa Bouba Diop, the Senegalese, died at the age of 42. Like I said at the beginning of the program, if you can't remember him, if you don't know who he is, at least if you can remember the 2002 World Cup in Korea, Japan, the very first match between France and Senegal. Senegal surprised France. France were the defending champions, having won the World Cup in 1998. And Senegal surprised them with a 1-0 victory. It was Papa Bouba Diop that scored the goal. And if you can still remember the beautiful celebration, he had to take off his jersey, put it on the floor, called his teammates to dance around the jersey for a few seconds, and that was very, very beautiful. But then, those are very good, beautiful memories of Papa Bouba Diop. It's normal. He was said to have died after a long battle with a long-time illness called Charcot Marie Tooth disease. Medical people should be able to know what that's all about. But then, he has been battling that disease for a long time. Then he succumbed to it over the weekend. Papa Bouba Diop. Yeah, I just mentioned one way he can be remembered. For me, that's the brightest memory I can have of Papa Bouba Diop. But how would this player be remembered? It was not just only at the World Cup he did well. He played at the top level of football. Played for clubs in the English Premier League, Portsmouth, Fulham, Birmingham City, different clubs in the English Premier League.
I think the memory I have of him is when he was at Portsmouth. He played under Harry Redknapp, with the likes of Kanu, Anko, Sule Muntari, Lomana Lualua. There were a lot of Africans in that team.
Well, Benjamin
Wariwari, and they were able to win the FA Cup then, with that team. I think I still have that memory of him. He was part of the leader of that team, owing to the fact that, most of them, they were mostly Africans, in that team. And, at that point in time, growing up, we're so fond of Portsmouth. We like watching Portsmouth then because of the fact that, we had Kanu Nwankwo there, we had, all these Africans in that team. So I believe it was when I got to know Papa Bouba Diop very, very well. Even though in 2002, I didn't follow him like, the way I followed him at Portsmouth.
Well, he won 63 caps for Senegal and scored 11 goals. That's massive for a midfielder. 11 goals for his country, and probably that explains why even the president of Senegal, Malik Macky Sall, has actually described his death as a great loss to the country. Well, Papa Bouba Diop means a lot of different people. Even the great Harry Redknapp that Austin mentioned earlier, that was coach of Portsmouth when he played, described him as a very, very fine player. Tribute have coming from all parts of the world, even Nigerian players, Kanu Nwankwo. Everybody has reacted to the death of this young man at the age of 42. So, Papa Bobadil, another football legend gone.
Well, it's shocking to me, dying at this very young age is really. I mean, why do stars have to just die like
Human
this?
beings, maybe human
Well,
it's
well,
just that they are stars, right?
yes, they are stars. He is a national player, a World Cup hero. I mean, especially that match you mentioned in 2002 against France. It was like the whole of Africa was watching the match, expecting Senegal to win, and they did win. And it
Made us really
was
proud, yeah.
yes, yes.
Well, Papa Badiop, may so rest in peace. He was called the wardrobe at Fulham. Jane Fulham from Lens. He was playing in France, Jane Fulham in 2004, and he was known as the wardrobe because he was like a tank, a big, bulky player, but very, very skillful and athletic. We'll miss him. Well, so much about Maradona and Papa Boba Diop. We hope that we'll not have to talk about other fallen hero on this program anytime soon. We'll take another short break. When we'll come back, we'll talk Formula One. Well, Lewis Hamilton is in the news again. He has won the Bahrain Open, but that you can say that is normal. But then something happened in that race that almost tainted the entire picture and the celebration. Sebastian Grosjean, a driver for us team, had his car on fire. That's it caught fire, and then it was just by luck that he was able to escape. He had burns in his hand, but thank God he's fine. We'll talk about that when we return from this short break. Come back to the Grand Sports Center, and in Formula One, the Bahrain Open Grand Prix was held on Sunday, and Lewis Hamilton won. So that is not a big news. It's 11th victory of the season. We know that it has already tied up the Constructors' Championship. It's already driver, the champion of the year. So, but then they needed to fulfill all the calendars, all the races on the calendar. So the Bahrain Grand Prix is one of the last few races, and he also won there. So, but then. For Sebastian Grosjean, it was a close shave with death as his car caught fire. He drives for the AS team, and it took about 30 seconds, we are told, to understand, for him to be able to climb out of his car while it was burning. He suffers burns to the back of both hands, and that is a very devastating one. Austin, a very scary one there. Yeah. A close shave, you can see.
I think it's a very, very close one, and this is not something we've seen in recent times. It does not happen in a very, very long while. But then, this happening now, it shows that something like this can still happen. It's actually a reminder that something like this can still happen. So they should be more careful, next time.
So away from the fire incident, Hamilton won again. So is this already looking at what we are going to see next season? Because everybody is saying that the next year's season will also be dominated by Lewis Hamilton. And from every indication, he's not letting down his guard. He's still maintaining that high level of performance.
Yes, it's no news that Hamilton wins and keeps winning. He's the Formula One champion. So I think even this season, next season, whatever... he will continue to, make especially Mercedes proud and lovers of Formula One proud.
So we'll continue to wish Lewis Hamilton well and speedy recovery to Sebastian Grosjean. Still on the program, we'll talk about basketball. We'll not go on any break because we don't have much time on our side. Good news for Nigeria: the Tigers have actually swept away every team at the ongoing at the 2021 AfroBasket qualifiers taking place in Rwanda. They won all 3 matches. They started by beating South Sudan, on Thursday by 76 to 56 points, and they now defeated the host country, Rwanda, on Saturday, and then only yesterday they beat Mali, who was supposed to be the toughest team in the group, to have it a clean sweep. So the Tigers, they are good to go. They are very qualified for the Olympics. So this is a sign that the team is quite strong.
Yeah, just like you said, I told you last week before, they started the Afro Basket, qualifier, that this is one team I'm actually excited about watching. During the last World Cup, the FIBA World Cup, they were the highest African placed team, so which actually qualified them for the Olympics. So the Nigerian Basketball Federation, they went a step further, bringing in Michael Brown, which I actually saw it as a statement appointment. It was quite a statement from the Nigerian Basketball Federation. So I actually see this team going very far. 3 out of 3 for Mike Brown is a good job for him.
Well, Austin may be there, hailing and praising Mike Brown, but you can also say it was South Sudan, Rwanda, and Mali. There was no Angola, Senegal, Tunisia. But then, can you take it away from this team, actually?
We can't take it away from the Tigers. They are senior men when it comes to, especially this Afro basketball. They are going to go really far in this competition. The one that amazed me is even the Rwanda game. They won the first set, second, also the last set. They did pretty well in that competition, also winning Mali. Come on.
Well, we wish them good luck from here, and we hope that the bigger picture is the Olympics. They have already qualified, and they will take this form onto the Olympics, because at least we want to see us get to the medal zone, even if for anything, even if it's a bronze. Nothing is too bad. So we'll take another break, and when we'll come back, we'll wrap up on the show with Super Eagles Watch. Still the Grand Sports Center. As we gradually wrap it up on the show, let's quickly serve you some of the good news about Nigerian players who are doing very well out there on Super Eagles Watch. We'll just run through it. Calvin Bassey is a player that played for Glasgow Rangers. He's about 20 years old. He played last weekend. There was no league matches in Scotland, but they played in the FA Cup, Scottish League Cup, and they beat Falk by 4-0. Calvin Bassey plays in defense, left fullback, but he scored in that match. That was the very first goal for Rangers. A very young player that could be of value to Super Eagles should he be invited. He's shown that in few matches he's played in the league that he's capable of holding his own. So congratulations, Calvin Bassey. So excited about that goal. But the man that is actually doing us proud in Europe, that is holding sway as one of the top marksmen in the European League, is Paulo Noachu, who plays for Genk of Belgium. They beat Cercle Brugge by 5-1 last weekend, and Paulo Noachu scored twice, making it 12 goals in 13 matches. He's a player that's, for the Super Eagles, is not that prolific, but I'm sure that that's one issue that the Super Eagles handlers will have to address, because he cannot be so prolific for his club and not being that prolific for the Super Eagles. Maybe it's a question Super Eagles handlers have to look into to find a way of picking out the best of this player, because he's proven that he's quite good. 12 goals in 13 matches. Congratulations, Paulo Noachu. Also among the goals was Ovie Ejaria, who plays in the English Championship with Reading. Reading, surprise team of the Championship. They look set to gain promotion because they are top there. They are there among the top teams in the Premiership so far. Right from the first week of the league, they've been maintaining first, second, and so they are still in that mix. They beat over the weekend. They beat Bristol City 3-1, and Ovie Ejaria scored the first goal. And this one player that has always switched allegiance to Nigeria. So we should look up to Genatroa calling him for the next round of matches for the Super Eagles, because he's in really good form. Also in that match, Dominic Solanke, under Nigerian, though he has played for England under 21, but still eligible for Nigeria. He also scored for, no, it was the next match between Bournemouth and Rotterdam. Rotterdam United had Freddy Ladipo scoring 2 goals, under Nigerian player, while Bournemouth had Solanke score for them. That match actually ended 2-2. 2 Nigerians scoring for the 2 different teams. So that's about all from Super Eagles Watch for today, and about all for the program too, because our time is already up. It's nice being here with you, and thank you for joining us. Please join us same time, same station tomorrow, and we always look forward to having you being with us. I am Donald Agbabobo. Let me thank Austin Alume for being here.
It's always my pleasure.
And Blessing Basi as usual.
Thank you, sir.
On behalf of all of us and the entire production crew, enjoy the rest of the day.